So what we're gonna do now is get into something that's really on par with frequency. This is about something that I care a lot about. Music. How intentional are we being and can we be about the music we listen to?
Want to speak up? Y'all know I want to speak up. I can go on my soapbox for 20 minutes. Man, listen, because again, being on both sides of the spectrum as far as the music thing, I grew up, I was a 90s kid, which means I was a 2000s teenager. Uh, that was crunk music, that was fighter music, that was, a lot of stuff that we necessarily shouldn't have been into type music at that young age. But I started my foundation, taking it back to my pop, was like the Lauryn Hills, the Missy Elliott's, the Salt and Peppers, the Al Greens, the Princes, you know what I mean? The people who were talking about something. So I learned as I got older and started to really hear what I was listening to. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're a teenager, sometimes you don't slow down enough to realize exactly what it is that you're singing and repeating, not knowing that you're affirming, which is why for the people, media is something that we really need to tap into monitoring, because they know that too. The people with money know that too, but that's a different conversation. But as far as knowing the difference, just switching frisbees, and this can apply to music. This can apply to any type of media, your TV, your books, even. You know what I mean? Because even those, unfortunately, have their greats and the not so great. But how you do that is you start to pay attention, like really pay attention to what you're consuming and how it makes you feel, honestly. Because while a teenager and it feels like you have, well, in my case, let me speak about me, I felt like I was having a good time because I was fitting in, and everybody else was doing it and singing it and all of these things, right? But when I'm by myself, I'm not listening to these things. I'm not vibing to these things. And when you are your truest self, usually when you're your most comfortable, and back then it was usually a solo mission for me. So I would say for the younger people, really decide whether or not what you're consuming, whatever it is, makes you feel good, even down to socials. Like, does that back and forth argument that you're watching really do anything for you? Or is it just something that's there? You know, on the opposite side of the spectrum for our more seasoned veterans of this life thing, it's not anybody trying to tell you what to do. It's just trying to get you to notice that. Remember back to before we didn't even have these screens, y'all lived a lot more of that life than any of us. What did that feel like for you? What did you gravitate towards during that time period in y'all's lives? So on both sides of the spectrum, just notice. Just take the time to really notice, and I guarantee you there's a lot of things that you'll want to voluntarily remove from your life and add to your life as far as media is concerned. And I'll put a pin in it there.
As far as music's concerned, is it just music or like just listen, like what you listen to?
Yeah,
Whatever you, whatever you want.
Yeah,
Cause yeah, all right. So, cause I'm gonna include social media too, right then. Cause it's a thing. Remember, I was saying like sometimes you get so caught up in the vibration that it becomes home, right? Me with music is so touchy for me because I'm very conscious of it, and yet I deliberately go against my better self when it comes to like what I intake as far as music is concerned. I try like I try different strategies to. I'm not gonna lie, it's addictive. You know what I'm saying? It's addictive because it is really, 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 truly tied to a past part of me that I haven't all the way dealt with. And like sometimes when I'm listening to this music, I am fantasizing or I am reminiscing about a time. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of time when I'm listening to, rap stuff, even though I'm a different person now today, like when I'm listening to it in my mind and my thoughts, you know what I'm saying? I'm reminiscing, and I'm not gonna lie, so, like it feels good. It's like, all right, I'm not acting it out in real life and I'm not being like that or whatever. But it's like I still didn't like lose certain aspects of, you know what I'm saying, like my old self and like that, like comes through music. However, with that does come the excessive aggressive thoughts that like linger because of, you know, those vibrations, you know what I'm saying? And I am conscious of that. So, and I like that also, I want to say that that also trickles into certain social medias, because although I have a lot of positive and good things, working out things, I tap into a lot of IMI's posts and things like that, so I get a lot more like good different things that I've never tapped into before, whatever, so I like that. But there are times when, you know, police brutality, ignorant fights, and you know what I'm saying, they be coming up, and a lot of times, you know, I'll be needing to just like swipe up and get rid of it, but sometimes I'll be like, oh shit, be watching it, you know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? But what I do, and what I do need to do more is like I'm present, and I'm like, you know, I am self teaching myself financial literacy, so I am into a lot more audio books and podcasts, like listening to certain things that I've never tapped into on that front. So what I do when I find myself I'm listening to it too much, I'm like, all right, like I gotta get an hour in of this audio book. You know what I'm saying? And try to have a balance of it. So that's how I try to like, you know, I don't know if it's working, but I do feel like I'm more positive today and now, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's working. I would be better. I would be better if I could have more control and limit the 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 rap and that aggressive stuff a little bit more. I know I would be, you know what I'm saying, like, but you know what I'm saying. I'm also having grace on myself too, and I'm doing better. So shoot.
You know what I'm hearing from what you're saying, that there being a time and place for everything, right? And I think
Mm-hmm.
about tribes that have war music. The intention is to go to war. So, with that as a distinction, when you think about what we're consuming, whether it be music or a video we see on social media, the intentionality is important, because what do we expect to get out of it? Like you talked about things that you listened to when you were younger that you might hear now, and it's like, oh, it brings back that feeling, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's, for me, a positive that can come from music that can be seen as negative. We're not listening
No,
to the same ears that we had when we were teenagers.
I wasn't. I'm sorry. Let me just clarify this part.
Yeah,
I wasn't saying the reason why I was looking at it as a negative, it wasn't that I'm listening to music that I was listening to when I was younger.
yeah,
I'm listening to types of music that relate to things that to the same type of music I was into when I was doing certain things.
got it, got it.
And
Okay, I'm clear on that. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
All right, all right.
yeah. And it's just like it just brings it. But what I was saying was, to me, it's like, even though I know that the vibration and all of this stuff and the aggressive, I know that it ultimately like causes me to linger in aggressive thoughts like for periods of time. For me, like listen to it, like why it's so addictive to me is because like I don't act or move in the ways that I did, and you know what I'm saying. And I don't even. It's not that I find it attractive, but it's still like a part of it is like I said, a part of it that I've just like pushed away and I haven't dealt with. So I still have attractions to it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just that part. But I'm not acting out in life. I'm just like, dang, I'm just reminiscing. So shoot, like, just let me reminisce. That's not that deep.
I think it comes with the experience and being able to channel the energy from what you're listening to. And I think about how these things are worded, right? We watch a music video on a certain channel. We used to listen, now it's streamed, but then even that, streaming music, right? A stream of consciousness. But it was used to be radio stations you know, where they're transmitting this energy through the radio waves. So all of it is it to me again it goes back to what intention are we listening to any form of media for, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be a podcast that we're tuning into, a song that we're listening to, maybe we're going to the gym and this slow jam is just not gonna hit for me right now, so I might need to turn up
Right.
with some UK grime or whatever, you know.
I think it's like the way I look at it, like what I'm thinking about what Adriana said about the different time periods, and I am first generation Black British. So my mom came from Barbados, my dad came from Jamaica. So they came here with the music that they left with. So in our house, regular, dominant was reggae and soca. And both of those things are positive vibrations. So reggae has that little island in the Caribbean, musically has dominated the world. You know, the vibrations that come out of Jamaica with reggae, and there is, for me, there is nothing like and every baby in our family, when they're born, they're going to that baby bounce, and that baby bounce just gets bigger. You know what I mean? You just make that baby bounce bigger. But there is a vibration, you know, a vibration in reggae that is positive and good and sources through your body. And the same thing with soca, but it's not the same vibration. It's a different vibration. It's fast, it's happy, it's party, you know what I mean? But lyrically as well, like I was talking to my friend Dennis, who's Jamaican, and his children are around my age, his sons, and he was saying my son now has gone back to the music that I raised him on. And a lot of my generation, me too, I've gone back to that music because when I put it on, there's a reminiscent feel, but it also is super peaceful. And the men, they're not talking about sexing women. That's what I was saying to you on the last podcast, I Manuel, when I said you got that lover man thing about you, because the reggae, the old school reggae is me love you and you are the light of my life, and you know, it's not no small thing, it's like epic love. And even in soca, it's got that same kind of thing going on. And I think what listening and reflecting has made me think a lot of the 90s music, as banging as it was, because the 90s was a very beautiful period in terms of music, there's a lot of toxicity in terms of the lyrics and the imagery. And that's when all of that hoe business came in. And it's secondary to me. I'm not in America. You get it firsthand, but it's still impacted over here, right? So that's when that degeneracy in terms of the way women are viewed. I saw the line. I saw when it switched, when it went from this conscious hip hop, KRS-One and things like that, to this videos with women in bikinis and men sitting there, you know, just and we, like I say, we still had a distance in that time. It still was, that's over there, that's not here. But that distance has closed now. And I think a lot of damage has been done by that imagery and some of that lyrics, some of that side piece stuff and sexing talk, and you know, it's not talking about family and love and, you know, that stuff that is deep in the reggae music I grew up in, or deep in the kind of happy soca party vibes that I grew up in. So I'm not dissing it, because again, there's a lot of Black British music at the moment where I love the rhythms, the MCs, I love their cadence. For me, it's all about riding the rhythm. They ride that rhythm like a don, you know what I mean? Like they're on that thing, but what they're saying is foul. Not all of the song, but that's why I can't always dance to it and put the videos out, because I can't put a video out with me dancing to you talking about women like that, or talking about getting your gat out and shooting someone, or I can't do that. So I'm able to still distance myself, but a lot of younger people in particular are not, and they start to absorb that. And there's a lot of evidence, scientific research, whatever, where you know you got suburban white kids that are picking up on this stuff that's in lyrics because it's programming. So I think for me, I have to distance myself when I listen to certain things, because I don't just like clean, glossy music. I like the grimy stuff. I like the grimy things. I like that element of truth, but I'm very aware that's not my reality. So I'm not attaching myself to it in that way, you know what I mean? But I've been doing it. I've been listening to Tibetan music and solfeggios, and sometimes it's just simply boring and dry. It's the truth. I'm bored by it. It doesn't uplift me. It can actually depress me, if I'm honest. I might put it on in the morning and write my affirmations, and I'm like, something's bothering me, man. It's this damn Tibetan flute. You know what I mean? Turn that thing off, and then I'll put some reggae on, and I'm happy. So I think it's like, you have to know. It always comes back to knowing yourself.
Yeah.
And if you can't separate yourself from those lyrics, then you can't listen to it. But if you're able to separate yourself, if you're able to, then listen to what you want to listen to. Do you know what I mean? Because it's a feeling.
Like, how do you identify with it, right? Now, just really quick, I thought about something that was put in the chat during formulating these questions, and music being in our DNA. You talked about your upbringing, your background, and when you put on reggae, you know, you can get in that zone more so than if you tried to listen to Tibetan flutes, and maybe because you're not from Tibet.
100%. 100%. And what you're saying, what you said about war music is very real, because a lot of this modern music and people like Dr. B, because Dr. B obviously is a musician as well, talk about this a lot. It's war music. So it sets off stuff in your body to go to war. That's why people like to listen to it in the gym, you know, on the running machine or pumping weights and that, because you're going to war, you know. And what Dr. B talks about in terms of the American equivalent to the reggae and the soca, and obviously you guys had that as well, is that like Earth, Wind and Fire, that old school soul, where they were talking about dimensions. You put that music on, and again, it's got a happy vibration. It makes you want to, you know, and then somewhere it's just got darker and darker, you know. So it's you have to seek out. And as you say, Emmanuel, it is about, I'm not dissing any Tibetan people.
Sounds like,
Any Tibetan person is watching this, I apologize, because this ain't about you, this is about me. You know what I'm saying? But it is in our genes, it is in our DNA, and that soca all goes back to Africa.
If you're from Tibet, comment in, what's your favorite type of music?
I love it.
Oh boy. I was just gonna jump in and validate both you, Caroline, and you, Tone. Started with you, Tone, before I forget. I don't want to forget. I think, and this is just my perspective on it. Take it as a grain of salt or take it as a whole daggone field. But I think that you listening to that music, because you are who you are, you know, that's your business, and this pod isn't the place for that. But I think listening to that music might be the work for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, so everybody does the work, whatever you think the work is, as far as inner child or whatever the case may be, differently. Music sonically, especially for people of color, is a part of the work. Like, to Caroline's point about soca and reggae or whatever the case may be, the reason why it feels good, even the hip hop, you know what I mean? Even though it's lyrically terrible, we know, and it has gradually gotten more and more so that way by design, by the way. But the thing that always feels good is the rhythm, is the melody, is the drums, right? That's culture. That's a cultural thing. drums have been our language since before we were speaking, English respectfully. So both, what I'm trying to get at is both things, in my opinion, can be true. You can be working through stuff by, say, listening to Reasonable Doubt. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you are, but that's Jay-Z's album. Or in my case, you could be working through stuff by just feeling like, I just want to go for a run and listen to Nut Give You Butt so I don't slap this person because they pissed me off. But I'm going to go back to listening to my TLC or whatever the case may be when I get home. I think both sides of the spectrum can be true, but what everybody's been saying, and what I'll reiterate is, through all of that, is noticing, paying attention to it. So if you're cognizant and you're consciously aware of, like, okay, this isn't the highest as far as intellect or whatever the case may be, but it feels good to me right now, so I'm going to rock with it and put it back in this drawer when I'm done. Cool. It's when you don't realize that, which is why I mentioned the age bracket when we're spongy, when we're younger, and we're less likely to pay attention because we got all this stuff going on at the same time. That makes us more impressionable. That makes us think that this is the end all be all. But if you notice, as times are changing, you start to notice, like, yes, there's a lot of straight up garbage. I've spoken on it several times in all forms of media. But if you really peep game, there's a lot of positive stuff trickling in for the younger people too. And they are gravitating toward that. I think this might be the first generation of people that I've heard about in mass that are gravitating away from drinking. They don't want to do drugs. They don't want to do these things. Like, this is a constant thing that's constantly talked about, despite what they're hearing, because they are seeing and learning the difference, because they are in this age of awareness and consciousness, learning a lot and paying attention. So for everybody that isn't or is choosing not to, I urge you to reconsider, because that's the difference. Like, it could be DMX and still be spiritual to you, literally. It could be Radiohead, which was the band I was singing off key earlier. it still be cultural to you. That was a time in my life where I resonated with that. I felt like that, which is why I sang that song. There was a purpose behind that. But I'm not going to walk outside here in the sun and say, Spirit, I feel like a creep, because I'm not. You know what I mean? I might be a weirdo, but I'm not a creep. That's the point of all of this. Like, I think everybody, and I don't want to speak for anyone, so correct me if I'm wrong. Y'all know y'all could jump in. But I think everybody's saying the same thing as far as being cognizant of yourself, how you feel, what you consume, and to notice at the end of the day.
Yeah, and it's like, it makes me think about one of my favourite artists growing up from day, and it was the first concert I went to, is Mary J. Blige. So I went to her concert when I was 14, and obviously I shouldn't have been going to no concert at 14. It was in a club, and my sister and my niece's mom dressed me up and made me look big and got me through the door. And H-Town were there as well, doing all this boom, boom, boom business. And I was like, 14, what? But Mary J. Blige, for me, why I always loved her was she gave me an outlet for some of the feelings that I felt. When you can sing that out, when you hear an artist on a record, and I know that's her whole fan base, that's why she's so loved and why she's so huge, because she speaks to your emotion. It doesn't mean you're going to carry that emotion, like a bit like what you're saying, Adriana. It's that you can connect with it and you can sing it out, and you feel better. So she's one of the few artists in my lifetime that I was always waiting for that album. When's the next album? Because I knew when I put that on, there's going to be something on there, you know. What's the one? I'm just fine, fine. You know, that one. You know, Mary J. Blige can take you up into the stratosphere, you know, while at the same time I'm not gonna cry, I'm not gonna shed no tears, man. Chuck, you know,
you was going through emotional roller coasters.
Yeah,
go through the whole thing.
So quickly.
And the thing about her is that I've always loved, and I still love her. I still love watching her on interviews and things. Is that realness? And she's not all squeaky clean. She hasn't got the most perfect voice. Her voice is gritty and grimy. You know what I mean? But you feel it. So I think, you know, there's absolutely a place for a reflection of society, of the environment. You know what I mean? It's not negative singing about pain. That's how we get through stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So some of these rappers, that's what they're doing. They're talking about their pain. But it all goes back to what you said, Adriana. The baseline is, are you aware of what you're listening to? And are you aware of your reaction of what you're listening to? You know?
Yeah. There was a conversation that Jay-Z had with an interviewer from GQ.
Mm-hmm.
He talked about battle rap and if it still needs to be one of the pillars of hip hop. And there's a side of me that says yes and no. Because there can be battles that people go through where, you know, you get some growth from. But then when there's the battle that gets personal and people talk about things that are going on in each other's lives, it can be damaging to the reputation of another. Then that's where it gets a bit murky. You brought up KRS-One, and I'm reminded of when he went at MC Shan. He was ruthless in his approach. He threw bars at Roxanne Shante, and it was like, yo, that didn't need to be said. As high level as we look at him as an artist to be, even he can have that dark in him. So with music, I'm thinking the same. You know, you pick from it what you can, and then as we grow, our ear develops to, you know, differentiate from this lyric being something that's actually happening to it being storytelling. And we know that we're not going to act on this because all forms of media can influence us. With music, it being a part of us, it just has a bit more control is not the word. It has a bit more power over our actions. But when we're aware, as we brought up, of our intention of why we're listening to the music, then we can, you know, really be in tune with what we're listening to.
Yeah, I've got to say that I made this song the other day. And the universe would not let me put it out, right? I made it, I got up in the morning and it was the first thing I did, and it's called Rotted Rank, right? And a part of it goes, Rotted Rank, right? And I'm like, I'm going.
Wait, are you saying rotten rake? Rotted
rank. It's a Jamaican
rank, like a
rotted rank.
Oh, okay.
That means you're supremely rude. That's what it means. Yeah, rank is like rude, and rotted is like
extremely.
Yeah, extremely, right? And I was just in this mode, and I do know it's hormonal as well, because after I did the song and then it disappeared off my phone, I went round the house going, I'm perimenopausal, yeah, so what? Right? So clearly I wasn't in the best place, right? But the song, the universe would not let me put it out. I made the tune. I was getting ready to upload this thing, right? Put a video to it, everything, and it just disappeared off my phone. And I was like, okay, whatever. And I prayed on it, and I said the next day, I says, can I have my song back? I promise I won't put it out. My song came back, and I listened to it again, and I sound crazy. That's the truth, right? And what I got from the Most High was, you needed to make that song. As an artist, you needed to get that out your system and express yourself in that way. And you did that. But if you put that out, the damage you're going to cause yourself, you know, it's like certain artists, if they turn around and say something, it can destroy my view of them. Like Sizzler's one that, you know, I love Sizzler. but I'll say it. Pump up her, blah blah.
Yeah.
Right? That song bothers me, right? Because
Mm.
I love thank you, mama, for the 9 months you carried me through. And then you got pump up her
Yeah, that exists
private
within the
car.
Sizzler because
In a
there's layers
sizzler,
to us. Yeah.
I don't want to hear Sizzler saying them
I
things.
get
You know
it.
what I mean? It bothers me. So what the message I got from the Most High was you got to be really conscious of what you're saying, because you can't put out comically connected and a cosmic mantra and then rotted rank. Rotted rank is going to destroy all that other stuff that you did. You know what I mean? Because the power in what you're saying, you have to be responsible for how somebody else might receive that. And it's the same as if Emmanuel all of a sudden put out a song about having one night stands. I'd be like, well, who are you, guy? Because I don't want to hear that from you. I want to hear the loving and the lifetime and the, you know, the holistic and the natural vibes and the, not to say that you've got to put yourself in a box.
Yeah.
But as an artist, you do have to be cognizant of what you are saying.
What's
You
on
know?
brand?
Yeah,
Well,
not
brand.
on brand, but also no. You build an audience on that. That same audience are listening to that. So if you're uplifting them with this thing, but then you're saying, but you know what? When you're vexed, get a gun and go and shoot someone. That's not, on a spiritual level, that's just not responsible.
I have a question to your exact point, right? Mm-hmm. Because this is so good. But I do want to know, like, what is where's the line though of authenticity, of being able to express that, even though I'm working towards this and this is where I'm at, sometimes it could get like this too. Like how, like, where, because you're 100% right now, I'm agreeing. I'm 100% agreeing with what you're saying as far as, and I'm laughing that it removed itself and then the universe gave it back to you so you can hear how you sounded. That is funny to me. But also because, like, I don't know, don't edit this part out. Like, I'm afraid to even, like, just be out there just in general, just knowing that I'm a brand, right? Like, I just don't even, like, I just want to just be perfect already. Like, when I get out there and I know that that's like outside, that's away from what we're authentically doing and being authentic. But like, a big part of it for me is like, I do have that rap side that I do suppress a lot. So you know what I'm saying? Like, how authentic would I be if I only show when I'm on with you guys and writing and doing this, when there's times when I really feel and really go through those ratchet moments, like, you know what I'm saying? So where is the line of authenticity? And do you guys understand what I'm trying to ask?
And I think it to go to what Caroline brought up about myself doing a song about one night stands, right? I think it's a matter of expression, right? How I express it, because it's not what you say, it's how you say it. I was telling Ja that about subject matter when it comes to making songs. You can talk about death, violence, but it depends on where you're coming from with it, right? So if I'm coming from or approaching a song about one night stands from a place of vulgarity, then it's going to have that in it. But if I'm approaching it from a place of, this is my experience, and, you know, yeah, that one night stand was what it was, but this is, you know, me at the end of the day authentically expressing what it meant for me to have that one night stand, as opposed to she was just a bop for the whatever, you know. It's all about approach. It's not what you say, it's how you say it.
You're right.
I was gonna say something similar, like to break it down for the audience, or something that's like pop culturally relevant. This is literally the difference between Kendrick Lamar and Drake. Quite literally the difference. One side of the spectrum is, this is the end all be all drunk party, yamp women out, all of these things. Kendrick is saying, hey, this is a part of my life. This is something that I did. These are things that I've experienced. But this is how we gonna switch that frisbee and rise higher. You know what I'm saying? I think what you're looking for, Tone, and this is just my perspective on that, again, great assault. But it sounds like you're looking at how you want to integrate it, because I don't think there's a line. I think it's how you integrate both and express that in a way that's healthy and authentic for you. And unfortunately, and I say unfortunately because I had those times in my life too, and still do sometimes for other things, but that's something you got to figure out yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta learn to integrate all parts of yourself and accept them all, and then learn how to express them in a way that you deem as the end all be all. Now that you deeming things for you, perfectionist, just bring it down just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Give yourself some grace, because even though you have a lot of perfect aspects, you're not a perfect person. None of us are. But I think it's all about integration.
And this is why you don't do things when you're crashing out.
Facts.
That's the difference between. It's the truth. I mean, I sounded nuts. I sounded like I'd lost my mind. And if I'd have put it out there on a professional level with some of the other stuff that I'm doing, somebody would have heard that and thought something completely different of me, right? I'm crashing out. Don't do things in anger. It's the same as with your children. That's the high frequency versus low frequency. Am I going to beat my children, or am I going to go, you need to sit in timeout and think about your actions, and then we're going to have a conversation? There's you know, it's you still discipline. It's how you discipline. I can still give that message about being rotted rank without sounding like a maniac.
Right.
And it was what I needed in the moment, which was why I felt the urge to do it, why I did it, and I still think it's a banger. But it's a banger for me when I need to go to that place to just get something out. You know what I mean? But not for the world. The world don't need to see that. You know what I mean? Just like when if you're in the gym and you're going hard and you're fucking, no one needs to see that. You show them in the gym when you're calm, and it's not being fake. It's being high level versus low level. You know, in control or out of control. And the whole message I've got from the Most High is the only way you navigate this life on a high level is from calm. It's from presence. It's from being decisive. It's okay to thump somebody decisively.
Or in music.
Required.
Or or even in music, to talk about stuff like infidelity, right? It's not a new subject matter in music. What's the song? Me and Mrs. Jones, we got a thing going on. His lady, she was somebody else's, but that's the same thing I'm talking about with a one night stand. It's all about approach. So I wouldn't take the approach of some of what the contemporary artists would do. I would put my spin on it for sure, but nothing is new under the sun. So these topics that are being covered, they might seem like they're, more prevalent now in your face. It's just that the elder generation knew how to put that thing on it.
Yeah. Promotion is another thing as well. Like, are you promoting violence or are you reflecting on it? The violence exists, and one of the things martial artists and my seafood told me, you need to know how to fight. I didn't know how to fight, which left me with no defenses. That's not a good place to be. And I realized my daughters are not going to grow up not knowing how to punch properly, how to defend themselves, you know what I mean? How to move someone off and get away. You need to know how to fight. And I saw something on Instagram the other day where these two guys were going, there's a difference. You can't be peaceful if you're not choosing peace if you don't know how to fight. You're choosing passivity. You can't actually do anything. So it's not a choice that you're making. If you're a warrior now and you choose peace, that's a different thing. You know? So it's kind of knowing that it's a decision to manage self. That's what high frequency is managing self. Is in the face of adversity, I'm still here. I'm still thinking, I'm still reflecting, and I am responding. I'm not reacting, you know? So if somebody comes up to me and punches me in the face and I go, bang, that's different to if somebody comes up to me shouting and I just go and start railing on them. That's not control. That makes me in the wrong now, you know? So really that's the in terms of frequency, that's the baseline for all of that for me, is like, are you truly in control of self? Are you a Zen master?
I seen a post yesterday before, and the guy was saying, like, you know, you want to be dangerous. And the other guy was asking me, they were interviewing, he was like, dangerous? He was like, why would you want to be dangerous? And he was saying, it's better for you to know, and it goes to your point, it's better for you to know how to do the damage and not have to, or be able to compose yourself, than not be able to. Because if you're not even able to, you don't get there's no honor in not handling a situation. A situation arises and you walk away. You didn't walk away because you chose to. You walk because you had to. There's no the self-restraint and the discipline and the ability to be able to know how to cause this damage and to restrain yourself and to be able to analyze, and like, that's a dangerous person. That's what you always want to be in. And the interviewer was like trying to get him, but he just made too much sense. And I was just like, you're not even hearing him. Like, you know what I'm saying? But exactly to your point, like, it's all about that control. But I definitely understand what you guys are saying about that. Something to meditate on.
And I've got to just drop in, I'll shut up now. But it's the same with intelligence. People choose stupidity, you know? They choose to not read. They choose to not look at certain, you know? You can absolutely choose to be a fool in this world. And that's a choice. So if you choose to be a fool and you're out there and people are finessing you with their intellect, that's your business. Mm-hmm. You know, I didn't grow up like that. I grew up with, you better know, you're responsible for this up here, right? You got to be switched on. You need to read them books. You need to watch that documentary. You need to. So that's it all again, back to self. You make a choice. If you choose to be a fool, you is a fool.
You as a fool.
That was an absolutely phenomenal way to wrap this up.